Negotiations deadlocked, more deadly attacks on truck drivers with bullets and petrol bombs.
We are busy investigating an attempted murder case on that. It happened in the Nyanga area.
Unlawful, improper and constitution maladministration, a damning report into the awarding of a multi-million rand tender in Limpopo.
Mr. Malema benefited improperly from the tender. The answer is yes, because monies were paid to on point.
Suspended cricket chief Gerald Majola ducks out of his disciplinary hearing to take the matter to the Labour Court.
I've got nothing to hide, so I'd like people, all I need is to clear my name.
Good evening, I'm Babakshini Chetty. This is the news at 7. The CCMA has moved to get striking transport unions and the employers to return to wage talks. It met both parties today. Employers walked out of the talks yesterday when unions asked for a 19% increase over 2 years. They had offered 18%. Meanwhile, 15,000 strikers who suspended their strike yesterday returned to work today. This as 2 truck drivers are fighting for their lives. One was shot and the other set alight after he was doused with petrol.
More violence. A truck driver narrowly escaped death in northern KwaZulu-Natal when his truck was stopped by 2 vehicles and then petrol bombed. Joseph Duma was shot on the N3 near Cater Ridge. He was able to drive himself to a nearby police station, treated by emergency workers and rushed to hospital.
We went out to the scene. We then treated the patient for a gunshot to the leg, also suspected internal injuries.
The strikers reaching crisis point in Cape Town. Here, a mob allegedly attacked a truck driver, dosed him with petrol and set him alight.
We are busy investigating an attempted murder case on that. It happened in the Nyanga area.
Another truck driver's life support machine was switched off on Monday. He was struck on the head when a mob stoned his truck. Talks remain deadlocked as both parties refuse to cede ground. The CCMA has now intervened to try and persuade both parties to return to the negotiating table. The SABC managed to track a meeting between the CCMA and the employer here, but this representative was not willing to speak. The employer says the truck driver's strike has lost momentum and that they're not feeling the pinch. The employer claims it's business as usual.
The trade unions only represent 44% of the employees in the industry. Even from that 44%, it is not all employees that are participating in the strike.
That's very untrue. I think they're trying to downplay so that they create a perception that nothing is going on. There are still areas where there's still shortages.
With negotiations deadlocked, a secondary strike is looming. It's not known at this stage when talks will resume. Criselda Lewis, SABC News.
Platinum miners and Labour are meeting to thrash out an industry-wide wage deal by the end of October. The sector's been hit by wildcat strikes, violence, intimidation and mass dismissals. Mining is the country's biggest earner.
The Platinum Belt, rocked by a series of wildcat strikes and has virtually been brought to a standstill. Today, Platinum bosses and union leaders met to thrash out an industry-wide agreement.
It's going to focus primarily on how are we going to go forward, talking about terms and conditions, wages, etc., etc., for the platinum industry, with a focus on doing it centrally, like, for example, the Gold and Coal are doing under the auspices of the Chamber of Mines.
But companies such as the world's largest platinum producer, Amplats, are taking a hard line. Last week, Amplats took disciplinary action against 12,000 striking workers and later dismissed them.
We are engaging the companies, more especially the platinum mines. You know, even today, this morning, before we come here, we engage on them on the dismissals of workers, and we are creating another platform to make sure that we represent those workers and make sure that they are taken back to their work.
The parties have given themselves until the end of this month to finalize a wage deal. Meanwhile, talks in the gold industry will resume tomorrow. Unions are expected to report back to the Chamber of Mines if their striking members have accepted the new wage offer tabled yesterday. Mbongeni Muchwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Reserve Bank Governor Joe Marcus says South Africa's economic outlook is rapidly deteriorating. She says unrest in the mining sector and national transport strikes is likely to lead to job losses. Speaking to economic students in Grahamstown in the Eastern Cape province, Marcus reiterated her stance that the central bank had no target level for the rand. Her remarks come after the rand fell nearly 9 against the dollar. Marcus says wildcat strikes, including the Marikana incident, have hurt South Africa's international investment reputation. Marcus cited the 5.6 billion rand in net equity market outflows on Monday as evidence. The awarding of tenders to On Point Engineering by the Limpopo Department of Roads and Transport was unlawful. Public Protector Thuli Madonsela released her findings today. Madonsela also found the process was improper and it constituted maladministration. Expelled ANC Youth League leader Julius Malema's family trust has been linked to On Point.
A report aptly titled On the Point of Tenders. It probed a 52 million rand tender to manage road and infrastructure in Limpopo. Madonsela found that On Point was the only one considered for the tender. There were 15 other bidders. They were rejected, even though On Point's bid documents revealed serious irregularities. The most glaring one, they'd been in business for just a few months and lied about it.
Some of them were just thrown away for putting things in the wrong envelope. Yet these ones come with the tax clearance certificate that says they've been around for about 5 months. And in their own response, they do say that they were a shelf company that was bought 5 months ago. But the department proceeds to give them a huge tender, a multi-million rand tender.
On Point is owned by Guild Investments, which has 2 shareholders. One of them, the Ratanan Family Trust. Expelled ANC Youth League leader Julius Malema's son and his 83-year-old grandmother are the beneficiaries. On Point has paid more than 2 million rand into the trust.
We're saying yes to the question whether On Point and Mr. Malema benefited improperly from the tender. The answer is yes, because monies were paid to On Point.
Julius Malema today visited a squat camp in Brixton, Johannesburg. He told the SABC the Public Protector's Office failed to give him the opportunity to give his side of the story.
Public Protector just Petro without talking to me. But no, there is a law for Julius Malema and there is a law for everybody. That's how we are treated. We are treated differently because we said to the leadership of the ANC, you must listen to the people who voted you into power.
Madonsela has requested the High Court Master to look into the trust. She has recommended disciplinary action be taken against the head of Limpopo Roads and Transport and that the contracts be cancelled immediately. Prishan Pillay, SABC News, Pretoria.